Hi all, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Maestro with Trust. This is my fifth video related to the series of Autopilot for Everyone. In this video, I'll be covering configuring tools and automations, how adding more power to Autopilot for Everyone. So for that one, we'll go back to two screens. I have kept all the screens ready. So one is my automation cloud screen, and I have actually opened the screen for orchestrator also. If you see here, the tenant which I have selected is for installing Autopilot, which is used for all our operations, and we have Autopilot also ready here. And I have opened studio also. Okay, I'll just open the studio here. It is not open. Okay, by this time studio is open, let's explain about today's topic first. So first I'll go back to my orchestrator. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so if you see here, for the tenant for installing Autopilot, there is a folder which is created, because when you install Autopilot for Everyone, this folder is automatically getting created. And if you see here, under automations, under process, 5 processes are by default getting created whenever you are installing Autopilot. So this is not something which I have done manually by clicking on add process. No, when you install Autopilot for Everyone, these processes are getting added automatically. And if you see here, Autopilot, this is an entry point for Windows, and Autopilot Mac, this is an entry point for cross-platform. So if your machine is Windows, definitely this is the one which is getting used. And if you see here, we have Autopilot FAQ, Google, and Wikipedia. So these are the process which are added by default. So what is this? This is like a process only, like a normal automation process, but which is getting added automatically. So now go back to your cloud, go back to your Autopilot for Everyone screen, admin, AAA concept, AI trust layer, select your tenant, and since it is already installed, the screen will come similarly for you as well. And if you have already installed, if you see here tool bundles, we will cover it separate, but if you see the configure tools and select the folder Autopilot, you could see that Wikipedia, Google, and Autopilot FAQ in your drop down. So basically, anything which is not main.cs default ones, you will be able to see that in your drop down: Wikipedia, Google, and automation, Autopilot FAQ. Okay, so what you need to understand is that if you have a process here, we have an option to enable it for Autopilot for Everyone from this screen. So we have an option to configure the tools here. These tools, if you select this one, these all are selected by default already. This performs Wikipedia search and all, these are coming by default only whenever you install Autopilot for Everyone. So since if you're following my previous videos, and if you have installed Autopilot for Everyone, if you go to this screen, you will also see the same description, same details, because it is coming from UiPath only. Okay, now we'll go to the assistant and see the working of this process. So we know that there are some predefined tools which is enabled for Autopilot for Everyone. So let's say that I'm asking a question like, what all are the latest updates from India? So I'm just asking a questions to Autopilot for Everyone. It will analyze the request. This, you see, it is actually running Google. So if you see here, Autopilot for Everyone understand that I need to use Google tool to get an answer for these questions, because this is something which I'm asking like latest update, and it is not something a data which is trained on my LLM. So I need to get the help of Google here. So based on the Google search, it gives me the results. Okay. So instead of a generic questions, let's say that if I'm asking a question like, what is 2 plus 3? A simple questions which might be already trained by the Autopilot for Everyone LLM. So we'll see how it is coming. What is 2 plus 3? So ideally, it shouldn't need a help of a tool because it is already trained, and since it's a mathematical operations, and you see, it is not calling any Google or Wikipedia. It is not calling any of the tools which is configured here. It is directly giving me the answer. Now let's go back to cloud. So we see Google is there. It was actually using the help of the Google. So I'm disabling it. Okay, I'm disabling the Google and clicking on save. Now go back to your assistant. We have to restart the assistant definitely. I'll exit the autopilot, restarting. So now what I'm gonna do is like I'll ask the same questions to Autopilot for everyone. But if you see here, I have actually disabled one of the tools for the Autopilot. So one of the capabilities I'm taking out from Autopilot for everyone, and we'll see like what is the response we are getting. So same questions. What are the latest updates from India? So previously the answer was coming from Google. It was using. So if you see here, it goes with the best next option. Google is already disabled, so I don't have the Google capability. So I have at least the Wikipedia capability. So I'll go with the Wikipedia. So we see here from the Wikipedia latest, it gives some information whichever is there in Wikipedia. Okay, so it gives me the answer. Now what we will do is like we'll go back to the cloud. We'll go to the Wikipedia. I just disable Wikipedia also. So if you see what I'm doing is like I'm actually disabling the capabilities of Autopilot for everyone. So it will become pure like whatever it is trained on the LLM model. So if you remember, we have actually talked about the context grounding, and I have given you the information that Google, Wikipedia, all these are some capabilities of the context grounding only because on top of whatever it is trained with the LLM, it is adding more and more capabilities using the context grounding thing. So if you see here, I have removed Wikipedia as well as the Google capabilities. What are the latest updates from India? Same question I am asking. We'll see the response. If you see here, it is not searching, it's searching company ABC index because it knows that, and it won't give the information because company ABC index is a context grounding thing. And if you see here, I apologize, I don't have any specific information. So the point which I'm trying to convey here is that the power of Autopilot for everyone is not just limited to his large language model, because large language model have the capabilities of what it is trained for. So if you see here, it tried to search in the documents, it tried to search any tools are available. There are no tools. Without tools, the capabilities of Autopilot for everyone is limited. This is the point which I want to convey here. So we know that. So I'll enable it back. Okay, Wikipedia, I'm enabling it back, and then Google also I'm enabling that. Even I can disable FAQ also. So if I ask any questions related to Autopilot for everyone, it won't be able to answer it if I'm disabling Autopilot FAQ also. I'm not doing it now in the sessions, but you can try it from your side. Okay, so now we know that these tools are very useful for Autopilot for everyone. Now the question is, what if I want to add more capabilities? Because Autopilot for everyone can actually add, if you see here, it could answer a lot of things, but whether it could do something for me, it is very limited now, I would say. For example, like if I ask a very simple question, like give me a message box. Okay, give me a message box with the text hello world. This is a very basic capability, right? So if I ask these questions to Autopilot for everyone, like any LLM model, it won't be able to do that action for me. If you see here, it actually guide me like how to do this one. The easiest way is to use Python. You use it with the Python, you will get the answer. It is actually guiding me, but whether it is doing any action, at the moment it is not doing any action. So I want to add this capability, very simple one, right? Very simple hello world message box. I want to display it using Autopilot for everyone. So how I can do it? So there lies the most powerful thing. If you have the right automations in place, you can add automation as a capability for Autopilot for everyone, and Autopilot for everyone will get those capabilities. This is very important because if you know that UiPath is very strong in creating automations, and it is there for a decade now, and it has that good capabilities of creating stable automations. So if we could convert those automations into capabilities of Autopilot for everyone, and anyone could use this Autopilot for everyone in your organizations, it's more like a agent, AI agent, because it can actually understand your request, it can do actions as well for you. So let's see how it can do it. So I have just opened the studio. I can actually start with the process also. It is fine to start with the process, but if you see here from the template, go and search for Autopilot. UiPath have actually given a template for us. Automation, Autopilot automation template. Just select the template and click use template. So UiPath have actually released template for Autopilot for Everyone development. So this video is mainly for the developers. So this will explain like what's in it for developers when it comes to Autopilot for Everyone. The answer is you can create tools for Autopilot for Everyone, but you might have a questions like I have a process because in my organizations I have hundreds of process which is already deployed in production, whether I can add all those processes as a capabilities to Autopilot for Everyone. The answer is you can do it, but if you do it, you have to think in one perspective. Anything, it should be specified to a task only. Let's say that there is a very complex process and you add it as a capability, it won't make sense because if I ask some questions, I'm not expecting it to run the whole complete process, right? Because it's a very complex process. It has some lot of prerequisites are there, lot of inputs are required. So that is not the idea. So the idea is your process should be limited to one task at a time. That is the reason why UiPath created a template. So the question to answer your question better, if you have a complex process as a developer, what you need to do is like if you want to add that as a capability to Autopilot for Everyone, first you need to split it into multiple tasks. Okay, and add these tasks as tools to Autopilot for Everyone. So you if you have 1 to 10 steps, you have to split it into step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 up to 10, and all these should be converted into different process, and these process should be added as tools for the Autopilot for Everyone. Okay, so now here to this one I'm adding a capability for message box, right? So I'm just mentioning like message box capability. Okay, this and all ignore it. So in order to have a message box, what I need is like an input, right? Input argument will be a normal text only. So this is so you don't need to think from an autopilot perspective. Once you have the template, just build the process like normal process only. The rest all will taken care by the LLM. So I'll show you that. Just closing the tutorial. Okay. So here definitely if you see the template, it's a very simple template. The idea of this template is to make sure that your code is very straightforward and one task at a time, and it should handle pretty much some issues. It should handle it, some information that you give. So get job information, log start info, all these are fine. Steps for the automations. Okay, so here I have to like message box. Okay, so I just need to use the message box. This is a very simple automation because the idea of this one is to make sure that how to integrate the tools. UiPath system.activities, it is fine. Yeah, I'm converting it to because I don't want the cross-platform because message box is supported in Windows only. So instead of cross-platform, I'm actually just converting it to Windows. By default, when you use a template, it will be cross-platform because if you see the Autopilot for Everyone, it is supporting both Windows and Mac. But in our case, if it is just a message box, I'm just converting it to Windows. If it is any other process which does not require specific Windows related activities, you can continue with the cross-platform only. Okay, it got converted to Windows and I have the message box. So I need an input or required argument. So these are like optional arguments and all. These are coming by default. So here it will be like input text. I'm not expecting any output, so I can remove it because it's the message box itself is the output. So required argument in it is fine. So I'll just use a variable input text. Okay. So any input which I'm giving, it needs to give some message box. Result message, it's okay. I don't think this is required. So this is from the system exceptions only. And fine. Okay, fine, perfect. So I'm just testing this one. I just want to run and make sure that the message box is coming as expected. Okay, if you see here by the default, the value which I have given was the required argument, so it came as expected. Fine, perfect. So now I'll have to publish this one to my orchestrator. So if you see here, it is connected to Master with Shraz. It's fine, so I'm publishing it. Okay, project tag autopilot. I'm removing it because I don't want because by default it is coming with autopilot because if you use the project tag of Autopilot, it will be automatically added, but I'll show you how to add it manually. This is good to keep it. Then click on next, workspace, and process feed. Okay, this is still fine. Click on next, publish. You can select where you want to upload your process, because whatever you are doing from the Autopilot screen, we are adding that as a tool. So let it compile. So it got published. Okay, now we'll go back to Orchestrator and see how we can add this as a tool for the Autopilot for Everyone. Okay, so coming back to Orchestrator, if you see the process, the message box capability is not displayed here. The reason is, if you see here, I have actually deployed to my workspace, personal workspace only. So if I go to my workspace, so here message box capability is here. Okay, so the description which I have given is Autopilot for Everyone automation description. That's fine. So message box capability is here. So if you just, one thing is like the process which I have deployed, it is in a different folder. Now we'll go back to our AI trust layer. So the Autopilot for Everyone, just to remove the confusion, I'm going to admin. I'm doing the same steps. AI trust layer, Autopilot for Everyone. I'm selecting the tenant and going back to the tools. We have the tools available here, configure tools. And if you see here, this folder which I'm selecting is important. Normally we might go for Autopilot folder, but since it is deployed in maestrovishwas@gmail.com workspace, I have to select this one. And if you see here, message box capability. Okay, perfect. Now this is very important. This prompt is important for the Autopilot for Everyone to understand like which process I need to use. Let's say that if you're using the same prompt for multiple process, it will actually create a confusion for Autopilot for Everyone, because it might confuse like which process I need to take. So it is always make sure that the prompt which we are giving is unique and specific to that particular process only. So this process is used to display a message box for the input argument text. When a user gives the input text, it should be given as input argument for this process, and the process will display the message box. So if you see here, I have used message box keyword here. So anything related to message box will definitely call this process. Enable for this Autopilot, set as pre-response, because I don't want it to, that if I'm removing this one, it will actually ask whether I need to run or not. So I don't want to run ask that questions. Instead, it should give me the message box directly. So I'm setting it as pre-response actions. Input text, if you see here, this is the argument which I have given. The same, it is coming here. Click on save. Okay, so I have saved this successfully. Now let's go back to our assistant. I'll just restart it so that it will get reflected whatever changes I have done. So this one I have already given as a feedback, so that if we could remove this restarting, something like a refresh, it would be better. So hopefully we'll see like whether it will come in the next release or not. Okay, so I'm just restarting Autopilot for Everyone. Okay, so I'll just give me a message box with the content hello world. So I see here, I'm directly asking the questions. Hopefully it should run. So if you see here, running the message box capability process, and it is not asking me whether I need to run this process or not, because I have selected that second checkbox as well. Let's wait. Perfect. If you see here, it gives me hello world message box. So this is how we add capabilities. Clicking on OK, then it is done. The process is completed, because if you see here, after message box, there are no action items which is going to take place. See if you successfully message the hello world. So instead of hello world, if I ask with something different, it will definitely come up with that message box. So this is the capability of Autopilot for Everyone, because creating a message box is simple, but when it comes to integrations, it is easy to interact with that code. So that's what you have to remember, like how this is going to transform the way we have developed. We are going to develop the automation. So it shouldn't be like a normal way of development. It should develop in such a way that people will be able to interact with our automations with the help of this one. Now, coming to a real case, let's say that you are working in a bank and you have lot of accounts are there, and someone sitting in the branch needs to know the account balance immediately using Autopilot for everyone. So the only thing which you need to build is like you have to build an automation which gives you the account balance when you give an account number. Okay, so I have in interest of time I have built very sample one. I'll just open that one. So get account balance. So if you see here, I haven't built using any template or anything. Using template is not mandatory. Using template is suggested by UiPath, but if you develop something like a very straightforward task automations, it is still fine. We will be able to connect with Autopilot for everyone. So I'm just opening the process. Okay, so this is my process. If you see, I just built a very simple one. Input is account number, balance is output balance, and currency is there. It is in a text format, so I'll give like this is the account balance of this account number with some values, and currency also I'm giving. What I'm doing is very simple. I have created one Excel file with lots of account number and details. I'll Whenever an account number is there, I'll do a filter. If there is a value, I'll give the account balance and currency. If there is no value, then I'll mention like an error occurred, there is no balance for this particular account number. So if I go to this particular Excel file. Okay, so this is my input Excel file. If you see here, I have a lot of account numbers and things. So I'll just copy one account number so that I can use it for my testing purpose. I'll just close it. And if you go back to my code, I'll do one thing. Instead of workspace, I'll publish it to Autopilot only, or shared also it is fine. But just to see like whether it is coming in Autopilot, I'm just selecting Autopilot. I'm clicking on publish. Okay, I'll just click on publish. Okay, it got successfully published. Now I'll go back to my cloud and go to the process. I'll just refresh it. If I go to Autopilot and then I'll add the process. So it is account balance, get account balance, it is coming here. Package on, this one is fine. Correct. Next. Display name, I'm just keeping it like this. This description is important, but the same description we can actually give for Autopilot also. This is also important. Click on create, close. So now if you see here under Autopilot, we have something called as get account balance, and it has a description also. Now we'll go back to the trust layer. I'll just click on refresh. Ideally that get account balance should come as a tool here. If you configure it properly, then this tool capability is also added for the Autopilot for everyone. So let's do one thing. Okay, I'll select for installing Autopilot. Under the tools, configure tools, folder Autopilot is still fine because we have deployed that process there. If you see here, get account balance is coming, and enable it, and definitely this prompt is important. So I just take the description from there only. This process will take account number as the input and give the balance as the output. So I'll give specifically like account balance as the output. If the account number is not available, proper message should be given and prompt for correct account number for the agent to process it again. So I'm giving that details. If the account number is not available, what needs to be done. Click on save. Okay, so it's fine. Now we'll go back to our Autopilot for everyone. I'm restarting it. You can note down one thing for restarting. It is not the actual settings of the assistant. There is a specific settings related to Autopilot for everyone chat. You have to click on that one. Don't get confused with that. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll open the Excel which I have used as the database here. So I'm just copying this account number. So I'm asking, give me the account balance for the account number. Okay, so if I see here, it is analyzing the request. It needs to identify which tool I need to use. It identified that I need to use the get account balance, and it will run in the backend. When I say it will run in the backend, it will be running from my machine only, unless it is a headless bot. The bot which I have created is something like an attended automation only, so it will run in my machine only. And apart it seems there is an issue retrieving the account balance for the account. The system encountered an error. Okay, I'll just run it. We'll try again. Ideally, this is not what I'm expecting. Maybe it is not yet installed. We'll try one more time. Okay, the automation got failed. Some issue is there. Just give me 1 second. Okay, we'll try again. I think it is because I have opened that Excel file, and when I tried to get it from the Excel file, it got failed. So we'll try it again. What is the account balance for this one? So I'm trying it again. So it will understand the request. It should hopefully give me the account balance. Certainly I provide you the account balance of the account number. Okay, so this one I have already ran it successfully. Just give me, I'll take another different account number. Okay, so I have pasted a question for a different account number. Let's give it a try. Okay, it is running get account balance. Hopefully it is running in the background. If you go to the process dashboard, I'll show you that after when it displays the results. Okay, perfect. So it gives me the results. It is like 610509 GBP, account currency GBP, British pound sterling. So if you see here, I haven't mentioned that GBP is British pound sterling anywhere. These are the capabilities of Autopilot for Everyone LLM. Cloud Sonnet 3.5. So many informations it is giving by default. So we just need to build something and integrate with Autopilot for Everyone. The rest it will take care. So let's say that if I'm asking the same question for a different one which is not there, okay, give me balance for this one if I'm asking for this one. So this account number does not exist, so it's a wrong account number, so I'm not expecting any balance, but it should handle it properly. Okay, if you see the response it is getting generated, I apologize, but I couldn't find an account number for the one. It seems that the account number might not be valid or might not exist in the system. To ensure right track, could you please double check the account number? So all these are something which is handled by the LLM only. It understood that once an account number is not there, I have to handle in this manner. If there is anything regarding account information or any finance, so it is asking the right questions also. This is the benefit of using Autopilot for Everyone, because it will handle a lot of things for us. We just need to build the right tools and integrate with the Autopilot for Everyone. So that's all for today. So there are a couple of things which I want to cover in the next session, which is called as tools bundle. This is also very important because if we are going to build for any small things, we have to build like a process and then deploy it as a configure tools, right? Definitely this needs to be done if we are using something for our organizations which might not be available in public. Definitely we have to build like that, but few things are like common, right? For example, like sending email, maybe reading email, all these are common everywhere. So all these things UiPath is actually providing us as a bundle. So how to use this, leverage these bundles, and how to use this one, definitely I'll cover in my next sessions. Hope you like the video. If you have any questions, definitely you can put your comments in the comment box. I'll reply there. So that's all for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all, and have a good day.